See a bunch of young arms. What'd you think of those guys?
Good. Two freshmen came out today, and Turner Spoljarek threw the ball real well. To be honest with you, I bet Matt, if you talked to Grabman, he'd feel like he probably was trying too hard and he wasn't at his best. But, not at his best, and he still threw the ball well. And they pitched out of jams when they were in jams, and, Matt came in and threw a ton of strikes at the end, which was great.
Going back to game one with Leo, he generated a lot of weak contact. What do you think was working with him there?
He just throws his pitches for strikes. He's got good live stuff, but he can throw 3 or 4 different pitches for strikes, and he's just a real competitor. He's an interesting bird. He really is. He's got that pitcher kind of oddness sometimes to him, and then he's just a warrior on the field. He's just a competitor, which is really fun.
What do you think of just the demeanor of those guys, how they handle themselves being in this spot for the first time?
Well, there's nerves on all of them. There's nerves even on the older guys right now. So it's to be expected. It's 3 games in.
Riku Nishida on base 3 times in the first game, had that big hit in the second game. Just what kind of difference has he made with his very unique style of play in this team?
It's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, you don't see that much. I mean, he's, I talked about, whenever we did media day, and I talked about some of the international players, and so you saw 2 Canadians pitching today, and they've got their international flavor to them, and then you've got the other 2 kids with Ceballos and Riku, and it's just, these kids, they all play in a different way with a different spirit that's contagious, and we all learn from it. Riku's an interesting cat, right? He can hit a ball on top of the PDA with power, or he can just frustrate you by walking and slapping the ball around. He just plays in maybe I don't even know if it's old school, but it's a Japanese way, I guess. Mm-hmm. And so he's a very unselfish player. He'll be a heck of a coach whenever his playing days are over. He's a very smart and instinctive player. We're lucky to have him.
You can see all the pressure he puts on the defense, but then your power was on display as well. Just the kind of the variety of the offensive attack you guys can present. You feel like you're a challenge for teams right now?
No, not yet. I don't think we're very good right now. To be honest with you, I think we can be a challenge. I think we will be a challenge. We've got great pieces, but to be honest with you, I don't think we're very good right now. And we've got a long way to go. But I love our pieces. Don't get me wrong. I love these kids and being with them every day. It's so much fun. But just as coaches, we get a chance to work and get these guys polished up.
Sure. So what do you want to see better starting tomorrow?
Just guys staying inside of themselves instead of trying to do a little too much. And that comes from when you have, on the position side of it, you've got a lot of good players, and so you got a lot of good depth. And so what's the natural tendency? Well, I've got to do so much with every at-bat to stay in the lineup, which isn't true. Just staying inside themselves, I think, would really help. And I think the more we play, the better off we'll be.
You mentioned Ceballos. So just what did you see from him today? Home run in his first Oregon at bat.
He's just, he's a competitive kid. He can play all over the place. He may catch tomorrow at some point. He's a prospect. The guy's really good and big, strong, physical kid. And I guess the best part about the international kids is that they are great people. They're like fun to be around, and they bring such an energy to the dugout, and it's a total team first mentality, which is just it's just awesome to be around those guys.
What was the explanation you got on Turner Spoljarek's balk?
It's all a matter of opinion. It's not worth going into, really.
Fair. I asked you yesterday about the nerves. Do you think that was some of the reason your offense was less than satisfactory in the first game? What do you think about now? Do you think that was something that played into it yesterday?
Yeah, I think so. It's just you're 2 days into a season, so good fortune. We're 3-0, 2 days into the season, which is great.
What did you see from Grayson Grinsell in that first game coming out of the pen?
He was a little nervous at the start, wasn't he? He got out there, but then we saw how good his stuff is, and another young arm, that's got tremendous ability, and he's got good life on his fastball. Again, just needs to trust himself, and when he does, great things happen for him today.
Do you have any updates on RJ or Jay Stoffel?
Well, Stoffel's available. Stoffel's available this weekend. RJ's not available. RJ might not be available for a while. I don't know if it's going to be the entire season or not, but he hasn't been right for us since when he came back from summer. And so we're taking it day by day with RJ. Isaac's progressing well, which is fantastic. And so I don't know, as many guys as you can get back or keep healthy and all that kind of stuff. We came out of the weekend so far unscathed, which is nice with injuries and stuff. So hopefully we can knock on wood and keep that going.
For Drew Calley's 2-run shot, just how impressive is it for him to take an inside fastball and keep his hands in and shoot it the other way?
You know, it's something where we saw him doing that a little bit before he hurt his hand from the hamate stuff. And lately the ball's been flying off his bat better than it did even last year before the hamate. He hasn't swung it great yet, but I mean, he's got tremendous bat-to-ball skills, and he's got power that he can hit the ball out of the park, all fields. He's one heck of a hitter. We're lucky to have him.
That's an injury that can take a while to get all the way back from, right? So is that particularly intriguing then?
Yeah, the doctors always say, you know, they're back in 4 or 5 weeks or whatever, and they are, but the strength doesn't come back for a good year, and, you know, he's about at that year point now, and so I think that's why that's adding up.
We've seen a couple of different lineup combos from you so far. Is that something we should expect going forward? And what have you liked so far about your different, combinations you've had?
Well, we're going to experiment and see what works best. And, like I told the kids at the end of the day, y'all are going to play. You guys are all really good players. And we're just going to figure out against which type of pitchers or best lineups are together. And, maybe there'll be a day where, like on doubleheader days, where you got to rest a guy. And we've got the depth to do that with great players that can pop in there and insert. So, for me, it's just, we're gonna see some other lineups. Tomorrow we'll have a different lineup to start. I can almost guarantee it.
Because of Riku's play style, do you think there's any bad intentions there on that hit by pitch that he had towards the end of the game too?
No, they hit him in the leg. Heck no. They're not. Billy's a great coach, and they're not afraid to go on the road and play against anybody in the country. He's shown that every year, and I respect Billy. He's a friend of mine. There was no ill intention there. He hit him in the leg, and Riku's just can be a little dramatic. It's fun with Riku, and that's the way he is. So I was just disappointed he didn't steal second base on the first pitch. When you get hit, it's always fun to do that. No, I mean, Riku's a great kid. They weren't throwing at him. No.